And now, here's your host of the program, Dr. Louis Fetter.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Louis Fetter, cosmetic surgeon and dermatologist practicing in New York. Welcome once again to Here's Looking at You. You know us very well by now. We've been here for many years, and each week we try to tell you all the things that you may be wondering about: cosmetic surgery or dermatology or fashion, health, anything that comes into our minds we want to share with you. And tonight I'm going to have a very interesting group of men who are going to talk about their lives in the 90s, men in the 90s, what they want, what motivates them, and what their tomorrow means to them. And I have right across from me is Derek Morris, not only a very dear personal friend and a patient, but one of the hot young traders on Wall Street. He's the guy doing all those deals, and before I make my moves, I try to check with Derek. Derek, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, Louis.
Thank you. And right next to him is John Allen. John Allen is the founder and chairman of On Track Records, which is one of the hot new record companies in New York, and I know he has a bunch of new things in store for us in the music world, and I want to thank you, John, for joining us also.
Pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. And right next to him is one of the hottest pianist, jazz recording artists in America. George Small just came out with a new CD, On Fifth, which I hope we have time to hear a track on, and it's been just a great album. I play it at home, I play it in the office, and I must commend you. It's fabulous. And
well, thanks a lot, Doctor.
I hope some of our viewers have the chance to go to the. I know you're in all the big, some of the new stores, H&V. Which record stores?
It's going to be in H&V and Tower and Virgin in the next month or so.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a great rendition. It's the kind of really cool background music that I think we all like. And when you came as a patient, you told me that you're a musician. I said, well, I got to get one of those, and boom, there I had the thing delivered.
Well, it's fantastic.
Good.
Great.
Derek,
Glad you like
you know, tell me something about you. How do you take care of yourself? What's your regimen like? You're very active. You played football at Wesleyan, and now you're on Wall Street and all kinds of stuff like that. What's your day like? What do you do?
My day starts early. It's right out of Ben Franklin, late to bed and early to rise.
There you
I hope
go.
will make me healthy, wealthy, and a little bit wise.
That's it?
I get up and exercise most mornings pretty early. I try to get a lot of sleep. Try to watch the way that I eat, eating nutritionally, I should say. Try to take care of myself, drink lots of water. Rest is
You don't put any champagne in that water or scotch now, do you?
No scotch, no
Okay,
scotch.
okay.
Only first growth Bordeaux.
There you
That's
go.
it. Basically, just trying to find some moderation throughout what turns out, in most cases, to be a very hectic and busy week.
Now, I have you on a whole bunch of things at home. All those products, do you use them?
I use them religiously, and I swear by them. And when people come to my apartment to visit with me, invariably they look in my cabinet and they say, "Who's this Fetter?" They think it's an air conditioning company. I say, no, they also do skincare.
That's two Ds, right?
That's serious, 2 Ds.
Right.
Now, my regimen, in fact, every morning I wouldn't think of leaving the house without washing my face with the Beauty Bar, and then toner is also, it's like brushing my teeth. It's second nature to me. And then usually in my business, I end up going out and entertaining most nights of the week. So at the end of the day, sitting in a room that's hot and full of computer screens,
Full of people making millions and billions of dollars.
well, that's
right?
the idea. That's
Right,
we're
right.
losing it. So you dry out pretty quickly.
Right,
So by the end of the day, despite all the water that I drink, I still go and splash on some toner without.
I always sent some down to your mom too in Baltimore. So
That's right, and she
Yeah,
swears
she's
by it also.
one of our fans. That's
and,
good.
And of course, Natural Repair Complex.
Good. Keep doing it.
Sold.
I like it.
Sold.
John, what's motivating you? I know you started this great new this company. I know you're in the music business for a long
Yes.
time, and you started your own label. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the schedule is very hectic that I do. I'm in the recording studio a lot late at night, and a lot of times I have to go see bands and nightclubs. So it's just a very hectic lifestyle with late hours. And since I've been using your products, my skin has been radiant. I feel better about myself.
You're
and
sounding
it's important.
commercial for me. This is
Hey,
great, John. I
you
like
know,
this.
this is,
This is great.
You know, it's my pleasure because your products have really helped a lot, and I just use them all the time.
And that little problem we had that time, you had that fall.
Yes, I had a fall. I had a bad scar on my head. I came to your office. You did, what was it, a dermabrasion?
Well, we revised the scar,
Mhm.
and we did a chemical peeling dermabrasion. And
Right.
tell me,
Big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even see it.
no,
It was a big
that's
scar
about-
on my head, and you took
Yeah.
care of it. Then I follow your regimen, your products, your beauty bar, and I feel like a new man.
So what's new in the music business?
Everything. We're very busy. We're coming out with a lot of new jazz albums in the future. But right now, this is an artist that we have signed to our company, George Small. And his new album, as you said, View from Fifth, will be in
great.
record stores everywhere.
It's great.
And I thought I'd bring George to you, so when he goes under the lights and the camera, he could be bright, he could look good. Not that he doesn't already.
Yeah. George,
No, but the
we had a
product-
good time with you in the office, didn't we? What, you never experienced all that stuff we did, huh?
It was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I had a appeal,
Yeah.
and you know, I was curious about actually how often that has to be done in terms of dealing with some of the things that creep into the
You know,
face. Like
you
the-
had a lot of sun years past when we were talking about
That's-
it. And
that's
you know,
correct.
the thing about sun damage is that it shows up, 15 or 20 years later. So someone like yourself who wants to just keep yourself looking well, I put you on a regimen using the products. And maybe a man like yourself, once every 6 weeks, a little light peeling, avoiding the sun, not going out in the hours of 10 and 2 and sunbathing, wearing a hat, wearing sunglasses, putting on sunscreen. These are things all of us can do with a minimal amount of energy and time, using products and just nutrition, eating the right stuff.
Sure.
We all know what the right stuff is. I mean, that's okay. Taking vitamins to supplement what you know is right and wrong. Just drinking 6 glasses of water a day. And, just doing basic stuff, which isn't very complicated. We all know the right thing. It's okay to make an occasional excess, but just try to keep an idea in the back of your mind what you should and what you shouldn't do. Now, what was interesting about your album is when John was at my home the other day, he showed me how you did it all with percussion, but also with computer. I was amazed. You guys can make every sound through a computer also, but putting it first through the piano and then through the computer. I had no idea it was that complicated, but yet that easy.
Well, it can be made fairly easy. Some sounds work better than others in terms of that, but yes, you can, through the piano and through triggering other sounds and in conjunction with the computer, give the illusion that a lot of that is being done by other instruments, in fact.
So in other words, you don't need a whole big band to get the sound you had on your CD.
Not always necessarily, no.
It's amazing. I mean, and how long did it take to do the whole album?
We did it this past summer over a period of about 2 or 3 months.
And you wrote all your own music for that?
Most of the music on it was written by me.
Really? How many tracks on that? About 10 or 12?
12.
Wow.
12 tracks.
So it's an hour's music, but I really enjoyed it because, you don't know what to buy. I know I go to the record stores. I love music. I have a bunch of CDs, and you go to a store and you just don't know what to buy. You just
Thousands
inundated.
of
There's thousands of them out there.
Right.
How do you know? So unless you have kind of an acquaintanceship with it and know what to look for, I mean, you all know if you like Barry White or if you like Julio Iglesias, you know this stuff. How about knowing some nice background music that's somebody new and something wonderful? What do you listen to at home yourself, John?
Oh, I listen to all different kinds of music, jazz, top 40. I enjoy music a lot, mostly in the background, because I do a lot of business out of my house. So I like music just in the background, something mellow, perhaps classical music, but mostly jazz and classical.
Yeah, I like to
Okay.
have the whole gamut myself. I like classical, but I also like
Yeah, it's important to have
I like rock. I like it all. I think
Oh,
music,
sure.
different artists can just bring different kinds of things to you.
Duke Ellington said there's only 2 kinds of music, good and bad.
That's right.
So,
Well,
the rest is...
I'm going to get you on your own show. You're good, Derek. I like this. This is getting better. Now, another point we have. So a lot of you men recognize that there are things that can be done to keep you guys looking well. I mean, we discuss this when you come to the office. You come in for the skincare. And I'm getting more and more men like you, successful men who just want to look as well as they can for as long as they can. Now, did you ever have other questions that perhaps we didn't discuss in the office that maybe we can share with the audience tonight? Derek.
Well, I tend to see you fairly regularly, I think.
Well, if
within
you're not in the office, we have dinner.
That's right. So, but I mean, I feel like the one question is how often would you recommend is the amount of time should lapse between coming in and getting facials? I mean, I tend to try to do it, but you get busy, you get
Well,
hectic.
as you know,
flying
most of my
around.
work is cosmetic surgery. I have the skin care and the facial therapies basically as an adjunct and as a courtesy to the patients because I think skin care
But it's wonderful.
is very important because I'm with a patient only a certain amount of time on a procedure. But the things that you can do at home using some of the skin products we have. By the way, I just signed a very large arrangement with a very large group in Korea to have Dr. Feder skincare products for 30 countries now, but mainly for the whole Far East. Because the Asians especially are so much into good skin care and things like that. We've just, it's been amazing the reception we've had in Korea, Japan, and we're going to open up in China very soon. But I'll give you some more information about that in a second. But I'd like you all just to wait a moment. We'll be right back. We have a message for you at home.
First, there was liposuction. Now there is liposculpture, the amazing body-shaping technique invented in Paris and pioneered in America by Dr. Louis Feder. This French sculpting technique uses a handheld syringe, not a machine, allowing for gentle and precise control. Liposculpture alone, or combined with Dr. Fetter's unique autologous fat transplantation, can achieve stunning results on almost any part of the body. Learn more about this extraordinary advance in appearance medicine. Call Dr. Fetter, 212-535-8700. Dr. Fetter's Silk Touch laser treatments can help you turn back the clock. This space-age technology is remarkably effective for wrinkles and gently treating the ravages of sun damage. With a very short healing time and minimal redness, it's a treatment especially attractive to younger patients seeking to eliminate the early signs of aging. For more information about laser treatment or to schedule an appointment, call Dr. Fetter, 212-535-8700.
In all four corners of the globe, the discriminating traveler agrees. Crystal Cruises' grand hotels afloat will take you to 6 continents in award-winning style. Come, judge for yourself. Crystal Cruises, like heaven, but with a return trip.
You don't have to suffer from the discomfort or the unsightly appearance of varicose and spider veins. Dr. Fetter's advanced sclerotherapy treatments can rejuvenate your hands and legs. You'll see stunning results as unattractive varicose veins virtually disappear before your eyes. This procedure is frequently covered by insurance. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call Dr. Fetter at 212-535-8700.
We're back. John, we were talking between the break on about the autologous fat you wanted to know
Yes,
about.
that sounded very interesting. Well, you take fat from one area of the body and inject it in one's face.
Well, I think we've discussed this before, but remember, we're doing grafting, basically, taking tissue from one part of the body to the other. It can't move, it's your own tissue, it's natural, and you can't reject it. The aging process, for example, is not merely corrected by cutting and pulling in the facelift position and tying up those muscles, because many times areas in here cannot be corrected by this incision. So we basically take your own tissue to reestablish those areas of facial loss through use atrophy and aging and exposure to the elements. And this is a situation where the area is safe because it cannot move. It's basically a graft. And within 2 or 3 days, that area becomes what we call vascularized and becomes part of the body's own tissue. So I've done about, thousands of patients for this, and it works.
Yeah, how long does it last?
Well, it depends on the area you do, and each time we do it, we get a certain percentage to take permanently. For example, the first time we do it, the take is smaller. You'll get a 40 to 50% permanent take. I'm going to show you 1 or 2 pictures to give you an idea what we're talking about. And subsequent touch-ups, we can get a 70 to 80% take. So it's a wonderful procedure. I do it in the hands and the face and other body parts. And we do it on an average week, maybe 5 or 6 patients a week, just for that alone. So we may do that in addition to a facelift, and then or do some autologous fat into this area. We may do liposculpture of the neck, a light peel or a deeper peel, like the one you had today, George. Rejuvenate the hands that way, and we're going to show some pictures right now. Let's go to those pictures of the face first, of a woman who had it done before and after. Now you see how she was a dancer. So you see how the loss of tissue, she's only 40 years of age, her lips seem to get smaller, and her nasolabial areas are smaller, and the malar prominence, which is around the cheek area, that also seemed to be in an area of atrophy and recession. So we did an autologous fat transplantation, and you see she came back, I think 6 months thereafter, just for touch-up, and she's just fine. It took, and she's very, very pleased. Now, we're going to show you another area that can be treated in the same manner. We'll go to that in a moment, and that's autologous fat transplantation to the hands in conjunction with a peel. So what we do is we take tissue from the hip, and we wash it, treat it, concentrate it, and in a special manner, we inject it into the hand. Now, here's a pre of a woman in her mid-70s, and as you see, the veins are very prominent. There's discoloration of the skin, very atrophic look. Elasticity is at a minimum. And this lady had facial work. She was very happy. She said, "What can you do for my hands?" So we started her on a rejuvenation treatment for her hands with special creams at home. And this is after a 6-month treatment. I think you'll agree with me that she looks a lot better. She's a very happy lady. You see, you do a patient, and you do all this work on her face and body, and her hands look bad. They don't like that. So there are things that we can do to make the hands in harmony with how someone feels and how they look with their face and body. It's a total, and it's a continuum. It's It's not one small thing. It's nutrition, it's health, it's exercise, taking care of yourself, getting the right amount of exercise, but also the right amount of sleep. It's a total equilibrium that all of us have to work with. Precisely. And that's exactly.
Do a lot of men have that procedure done in your office?
A good number. I do more women, but I certainly get at least 35 or 40% of my practice is men, as I can attest to with all you glamorous gentlemen right here. So it's quite nice. Now, George, the musician star, tell us a little more. You had something you want to know about more about the peeling.
Well, yeah, I was just curious about how it would eventually have the effect, of course, of the encroaching of the proverbial crow's feet and
well, you know, that's very interesting you mentioned, because the crow's feet, like in your case, eventually, if we'll talk about it more, I would use the Botox injections on you also, which would basically paralyze these little areas of muscles here, and it would just smooth right out. And after 5 or 6 days after I inject you there, I'm going to smooth this whole thing out, and then we could do a little bit in here, and it's just an amazing procedure because these areas are taut because the muscles are constantly in basically contraction. Once they're relaxed and basically, in effect, paralyzed, because they're not doing anything for you that makes you look squinty and kind of tired.
Right.
I don't want you to look like a math professor forever. I mean, you're a famous jazz pianist.
That was your analogy today.
Right. And once we do that, you're going to find a very nice, relaxed look to yourself. In addition, we'll continue with the chemical peels, the light peels. Later on, we might consider a little deeper peel for you. And, of course, at home, you have to use those skincare products that I gave you. You have
Which
the
I have been
glycolic.
enjoying very much.
Now, you're on what regimen right now, George?
I'm rotating 3 different things. The one that I remember is the
Glycolic, yes.
Okay, glycolic, and then there was a cleansing cream.
Right.
And, of course, the soap, which I enjoyed very much.
And the Retin-A also I have you on.
That's correct.
And the reason I have you on 2 of those products, they both have different actions. Glycolic, our special glycoderm, that separates individual cells, so the cells slough off. Now, the retinoic acid, on the other hand, has an effect that it works within the cell and increases what's called mitochondrial activity and increased oxygenation within the cell itself to keep the cell plumper and healthier, and it causes more of a turnover. So using those 2 products together and avoiding the sun, I'll make you a promise. In 3 to 4 months, you're going to look 10 to 15 years younger and better. You'll like you for you. I mean, that's how those ravages, you know, when you're going in front of Carnegie Hall playing your piano there, I mean, you got to look good, George.
Of course.
And by the way, we all want good seats. You're not going to forget us now, are you?
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Really.
Now, Derek, you also mentioned to me, you say, you know, because you're dark, you want to take certain precautions. Are you careful on the sun also?
I don't worship the sun.
Yeah. You worship the almighty dollar, is that right?
Only between 8 and 4 p.m.
Okay.
Mom, I didn't say that.
But you're careful about that, aren't you?
I'm very careful about that. Something that struck me as we're sitting here and I'm listening to the different, we all have our own Achilles heel, our own weak spot. I'm curious, I think as a black man and many men who disproportionately have curly facial hair, curly hair, I shave with a depilatory. I don't shave with a razor. And I find, you know, often I might get dermatitis in a spot, and you know, it can move. It's a movable feast.
Right.
What would you recommend or
Well,
suggest?
that's a condition many times called pseudofolliculitis barbae. And what happens is the hair itself curls up, and it goes back into the skin and causes what's called a foreign body reaction. In effect, it's a chronic inflammatory response by the hair. So what you have to do is take an old toothbrush and release those hairs. And there's a couple of special shaving instruments made by some of the companies. I think Braun has one. I think Norelco makes one that is especially equipped. The head catches the hair at a certain angle so it doesn't cut back and do that. So check in some of the big department stores for that thing. I think you'll find it very, very helpful.
No, but once you do that, or once, because I think using a depilatory as I have, I've met with a fair amount of success.
Yeah.
But it's the actual dermatitis that I get in, you know, we solve the inflammation issue and
Yes.
folliculitis, but then it's the dermatitis that you get. You'll get a little rough patch of skin here or there, and through use of the product.
Remember I gave you some mild steroid cream for that. And I
Yes,
think,
that's right.
Yeah, it's an ongoing chronic thing. I mean, we're not going to cure it per se. We'll control it. It's like many other, you know, low-grade problems. But fortunately for you, it's done very well.
Yeah,
and I'm quite pleased, and I think you are too. I like the way your skin looks, and terrific. But nobody move, because I have some information for you at home. Please don't coy. We'll be right back.
Beauty, they say, is in the eyes of the beholder. How you feel about your appearance can have a dramatic effect on your life. Your face is your window to the world. Dr. Louis Fetter's breakthrough techniques in chemodermabrasion and chemical peels can produce dramatic improvements in your skin's complexion and help remove and greatly reduce the appearance of acne facial scarring and other skin imperfections. You can reverse the effects of aging and sun-damaged skin with these highly effective techniques pioneered by Dr. Fetter. For more information, call 212-535-8700. Dr. Fetter invites you to experience the quality and effectiveness of his personally formulated skin treatment products and cosmetics. These acclaimed products have been dispensed and tested worldwide for over 15 years. The more than 100 products are free of any known allergens and contain only the finest quality ingredients. Once you've tried these products, you'll find them indispensable for maintaining a beautiful, clear complexion and general good health. For more information, call Dr. Fetter, 212-535-8700.
The act of giving has to be one of the very best feelings in the world. I personally put it up there with eating ice cream right out of the carton, or being on the receiving end of an unexpected kiss, or smelling a freshly mown lawn. Not surprisingly, the act of supporting our United Way produces the same wonderful effect. It takes our gifts and through the magic and not a little hard work of volunteers and nonprofit agencies turns those gifts into everything from food and shelter to disaster relief and daycare. And it all goes right to the people who really need it, right here in the neighborhood. So this year, if you would, support our United Way. I guarantee it'll be a very good feeling, and you won't even have to cut the grass to get it. United Way, with you, reaching those who need help, touching us all.
Now, there's a nearly perfect wrinkle treatment for worry lines, frown lines, crow's feet, laugh lines, and other so-called dynamic wrinkles. Dr. Fetter's Botox Clinic features this remarkable treatment that's minimally invasive, extremely safe, and can achieve the desired results with a single treatment, often producing results that even surgery can't achieve. For more information about this breakthrough advance, or to schedule an appointment, call Dr. Fetter, 212-535-8700. Dr. Fetter has created one of the most important cosmetic surgical breakthroughs in 50 years, the facelift bypass. This unique rejuvenating process uses your own body tissue and can take 15 to 20 years off your appearance in just 1 hour. The procedure is virtually painless and leaves no scarring, often producing better results than a traditional facelift. Finally, there is a cost-effective innovation that can bring incredible results to anyone seeking to improve their appearance. For more information, call Dr. Fetter, 212-535-8700.
We're back, gentlemen. So this is the kind of thing I think people at home want to know about. What men like yourself, what kind of things you aspire to, and how perhaps life has changed from the 80s to the 90s. And I think you've given them a pretty good overview of that. Now, my question is this. Are you fellows also taking care of yourself on, do you see your internist frequently? Do you go and have checkups and things of that sort?
Yes, well,
I mean,
after you.
Derek, you go and do these things, get your blood pressure. I know I do a blood test on you every couple of months myself, but are you going to your internist and getting checkups and taking care of yourself?
I do, and I guess one of the advantages of having you as a friend is the first time I came into your office and I saw that you also had a degree in pathology. I said, well, he's probably seen anything that can ail me, so why give the money to my internist? I can just ask you. Yeah. No, I do. I follow myself carefully with other physicians, but by and large, it's one of the nice things about coming to you is when I mention to you something that seems unrelated to cosmetic issues or care for my skin, you are willing freely to advise me which direction I should go.
Yeah. And referrals are also important. I mean, yeah. I try to also keep a very good group of other specialists around in our practice, and if I need to refer you, I have a really good group of doctors that I feel comfortable with, who I can send you to, that if you come from my office, they're going to treat you right. I mean, I don't like hearing that patients tell me, in this day and age, doctors, unfortunately, are under a lot of pressure because of the changes in health care with the HMOs and the PPOs and things of that sort. So a lot of patients are not getting the kind of intense care that they once had. I mean, when a doctor has to see 40 and 50 patients a day, he can't sit and spend as much time with you as he had in the past. So when a patient comes to me and I can give them that extra time because we're not involved in most of these health plans, it does make me feel good. When you ask me a question like that, I welcome it, and I try to help you as best I can.
Yeah, at
So,
the end of the day, I mean, I subsidize the cost of my medical care, but I have found that you might think, and ironically, as it turns out, if you're going into a doctor's office on Fifth Avenue, that it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, and invariably it's been my experience that my insurance has reimbursed most of the cost of me coming to you, and the difference that they haven't has been well worth the price. So
I didn't know we were an arm and a leg, though.
It's just an arm.
Just an arm. Just an arm. No, we find,
Give
we
me
find
back
that
my leg.
Our fees, we try to keep them very competitive, and I think you can
Oh,
see,
absolutely.
you can
It's
see a
very
doctor.
competitive. Plus, you know, you've been doing this for a long time, over 25 years?
400 years? No, no.
400 years?
No, not 20, not, no. We've been in practice about 18 years, sure, man.
I've been a patient of yours for several years, and what I like, sometimes when I come to your office in the daytime, I sneak away for lunch, and you give me your facials, which is very nice. The office environment is very soothing, and I just lay back, and you give me a facial.
I don't.
And,
Oh, no.
well, you did it once or twice.
Did I?
You did it once or
I must
twice,
have
and the
forgotten.
girls usually do it.
Yeah.
But then you give me the chemical peel,
Yeah.
which is very quick, takes a minute to do, and just keeps my skin rejuvenated and glowing. So that's a procedure I like a lot.
Okay, Joe. Now, I happen to have the privilege of playing your track from your new album on Fifth.
View from Fifth.
View from Fifth. And, you know, I thought it was Fifth Avenue, you told me it was Fifth Street, but it's the same thing.
Well,
it's close.
Who's counting?
But I want to hear that now. I think our audience will really like hearing it.
I hope they do.
I hope you've chosen a nice track for us. And my engineers will let me know momentarily when they're going to be able to play that. And I want to thank you all for coming, because I think we had a great show. I think everyone at home is interested in men like yourselves, because you're the kind of men that make things happen for a great city like New York. And
It's a pleasure to be on your show.
I'll see
Thank
you all
you.
very soon.
See you soon.
Here's looking at you. Good night. And I'd like you to hear this great track from George Small. See you next week.